Hey everyone, welcome to Locked In, the channel that brings the best college football intel to the modern fan. We appreciate all of you who've watched our channel and would love for you to become part of the channel by clicking the subscribe button. This will help us become more visible on YouTube and help us achieve our goal of raising football IQs everywhere through in-depth analysis in plain English. Thanks everyone. Stay locked in. Okay, guys. Tonight, we're going to look at two plays in particular that were very similar and had a huge impact on the game. It features a matchup between A.D. Mitchell, star wide receiver for Texas at the top of the screen, and Elijah Jackson, a sophomore cornerback for the Huskies. The first play goes Mitchell's way. The last play, and the one that really counted, goes Jackson's way. So, Rev, tell us what we're looking at right here.
So right here, it's second and goal on the 1 yard line. Everything is saying they're going to run the football. Formation saying they're going to run the football. You do see a play fake. So Washington is selling out on that. So on the top of your screen, on the bottom of your screen, you got one-on-ones. You got corners on an island on two good receivers on both the top and the bottom. And what this turns into is a play fake, and then Ewers is throwing up a jump ball, 50-50 ball, one-on-one ball, whatever way you want to call it. That's what he's throwing here. And they have there's precedence for this because Texas has two really good outside wide receivers. A.D. Mitchell is he's a great one. He's one of the greats this year in college football. So it makes total sense why you want to try this. Plus, a second and goal, so you get another shot if it doesn't go your way, especially with the way that he throws this ball. As a quarterback coach or offensive coordinator, when you're going over plays like this or just this throw in general, thing that you tell your quarterback is that you throw it to where your guy can get it or nobody can. Quinn Ewers does a really good job of doing that here. As you can see, it's high, it's outside, and if AD can't go up and get this, or he can't, get outside and get this ball, then nobody's going to be able to have a play on this. So great ball placement, great body adjustment from AD Mitchell. Obviously, good job with his hands and good job with his eyes, looking at it and grabbing it and coming down with the ball. And then as far as the DB goes here, and Elijah Jackson, right away, he turns his head immediately to follow AD down into the end zone. And this is tough. This puts you in a tough situation as DB because you don't know when the ball's in the air, you don't know where the ball is, and he never gets his head turned back around. So at this point, like, he sees AD react to a ball coming in the air, and he just has to try and hope that the ball's not thrown very well and try and contest it. He does a bad job really all around with that. He doesn't get off the ground very far. He jumps late. His body's in the wrong position to try and play the ball. Obviously, his head's not turned like we talked about. So just in general, it's not a good play by him, and it's a great play by Mitchell and Ewers. And Washington loses this one, and Texas wins it.
Yeah, and because it looks like it's going to be a run from Texas, and because Texas had produced a very um, devastating run game to Michigan's defense all night long, Washington kind of sells out for the run here. And Elijah Jackson is more like an outcast. And A.D. Mitchell says, "I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real." Goes up, catches this ball, high points it, brings it in to his body away from the receiver at the same time in order to make a great catch, just to, get the game a little closer, and would go down as a very impactful catch, especially since they run basically the same exact play later.
And the thing I think you've got to think at least was on the minds of the Texas offensive staff is given how awkward that Jackson looked in playing this particular ball, they have to think if we get one last shot or if we just get down there again, one score can win it for us, touchdown, an extra point. We've got to throw at Jackson one more time. And I think that really sets up an interesting battle because Texas knows what they want if they get the chance to get it. And Jackson had to be thinking, if that happens again, I swear I will not be out of position. And so that leads us to this second play with a chance to win the game, 1 second left. So tell us what's happening here.
So
What changed?
it's really interesting, actually. Pre-snap, so this tight end, or really a receiver that you're seeing at the bottom of the screen who is in motion, he started out on the left side in a bunch. Then he motioned to the right of the quarterback at a running back position. And then again, he motioned back around in this, orbit looking motion that he's rolling out to his left. And he basically is arrowing out that way, and the ball is snapped. But the other interesting part not only was his movement, but also Washington's defensive movement to this. If you see, not a whole lot changes. The safety at the top of your screen, who's right behind the referee here, he does move a little bit, and there is a corner that you can't see in this copy, who's very far wide outside, and he will just push further outside. So as this motion guy is going out to the left, this corner is also going to just come outside and stay outside of him, just to not allow him to get to an angle on the other side of the end zone. So those two guys are kind of removed from this. But what made that interesting to me is Texas, through their motioning, gets that safety moving just a bit, and there's no linebackers who are helping out with this, at least according to what they're showing here. So Texas got exactly what they wanted, like Locke was talking about just 7 minutes earlier in the game, where you got a one-on-one with AD versus Jackson, and they were able to motion to something where, oh, hey, we got that again. We know where we're going. We want that one-on-one. Now, there is a little bit of a difference here. Ball placement. Earlier, the ball's on the 1 yard line. Washington is expecting run. You got corners on islands, and you got them playing, 1-2 yards apart, just based on that's where the ball is placed, close to the end zone. This one, though, got the ball on the 13-yard line. So now you have more space as a DB to be able to utilize. So you're not playing man up. What it really looks like here is you're playing cover 4, and you just don't have a lot of lower zone help, because you got everybody else who's on the line. Now, they do have 2 guys that drop, and we'll see that here as I play it, but they drop late. So despite the cover 4 look, it still turns into a one-on-one on the right side, which is what Texas wanted. They know they already won that. They know that Jackson looked bad. And I mean, even in this freeze frame, because you know that AD is taking his cut right to the corner of that end zone, to a very similar spot where they threw it before earlier in the fourth quarter. And in this freeze frame, Jackson sort of looks like he has bad positioning here. He kind of sets himself up to allow AD to take a better line and have a fairly, what would seem to be an easy throw. But it almost seems calculated, because right here, he gets his steps right. You can see he will push off his right foot, and he gets his hips turned really quick, as if he was expecting this. And I think that's what I like about this. In the previous play, he had very bad positioning with just his body, his eyes, everything. His positioning was just wrong. And in this one, he almost like he sets it up for this route to be thrown again. He sets up the spot where he wants that ball to go by giving that corner. He doesn't want AD to be able to cut in front of him, because if AD does, AD has great speed. And you're talking about viewers who can make good balls, and you see all the time in all levels of sport. We just talk about quick slants on man coverage. That one quick move is all it takes for a touchdown or for a big play. So he's utilizing the out of bounds area as part of as a defender for him. So there's not a lot of room for AD Mitchell to utilize in the corner that's circled, and he gets in front of where that cut would be. So if this was a choice route, or if this was possibly going to be where AD's going to try and cut in front of Jackson, he's already giving himself the right positioning for that route to stop that route. And then he does a great job of hitting his right foot, his outside or his inside foot, and turning his hips right to where this ball is thrown. So as soon as the ball is thrown, he plants his foot, he turns himself, and then now we have him with his body towards the ball, his eyes towards the ball. He can see exactly where that's coming down. He can see where AD's going up and get it. And in this time, instead of Jackson being the one that jumps the wrong time, he jumps perfectly, and AD jumps a little bit late. So there's a slight timing difference here that I'm just really impressed by the correction that he made from the earlier play that we watched to this play. He has his eyes right. He has his body right. He gets up right behind AD Mitchell, it times up his jump perfectly, gets himself right in the right position to be able to swat this ball as it's coming down to hit the receiver's hands. And I mean, he saves the day. This play allowed Washington to move on to the national championship, and it's all really based on him correcting his previous mistakes on a very similar looking play, and this time having the right angle, the right positioning, and doing the right thing at the right time. So very impressive from Jackson, winning the second battle and the one that ultimately became the more important one.
Yeah, I really think that along with this play right here, he really got helped out because there's 1 second left. It's 4th and 11.
Mm,
You know, if you're Washington, Texas isn't going to run the ball here.
right.
So they definitely aren't. They're going for a pass. And you know what? They're probably going to number 5 right here, A.D. Mitchell. He's made big time plays all year, game winning plays all year. And they're expecting him the whole way, at least Quinn is, to be getting this ball. I mean, he looks at AD the whole way, and Michigan sees that, number 4 sees it. And you'd have to think that Elijah Jackson sees it. So, I mean, he makes a great play on the ball. AD doesn't really make a great play on the ball, for being honest. It's a good throw, though. And Jackson just reads it well, makes a great play of the ball, and his coaches set him up for success. I mean, they was aware of the situation at hand, and they played good defense to match Texas's offense right here, and they end up winning with a good play and good defense. So, I mean, I expect to see that a lot against Michigan. Expect to see their DBs perform well.
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all said on this one. I think it's great that Jackson got a chance to make up for, no doubt what was probably a play that could have really gotten his head. So, good for him. And I think he used every resource back there. Like what you said, Rev. He's using sideline. He's managing in such a way that he can cut off every option that Mitchell has, and they're going to just go play for the ball. And it's a true one-on-one. And this time Jackson's able to deliver. One thing I will add that I think does help the that defensive tackle. I think that that rush that he gets right there through the B gap, I think that it probably rushes this throw just a little bit. Now it's still a good throw, and I think that that AD could have gotten it, but I wonder if that doesn't put things just on maybe a half a second, faster time frame, and creates a good opportunity for the defensive back to come right over the top and rip the ball away in dramatic fashion. I mean, it's a good defensive play. I mean, it really is. Lots of
Speaking
things came together right here.
speaking to that, just as a little bit of an add-on, this freeze frame right here. So the ball has just been released. If you look at Jackson and Mitchell, who sees the ball first right here?
Well, definitely Jackson. You
Right.
can see
So
the face mask.
exactly. You can see his face mask. He's looking back towards the ball. He knows where AD Mitchell is. He sees that Mitchell's about to step on, he's on his cut foot. So he knows the ball is in the air before the receiver knows it. And that allows him to plant that foot. He's not worried about anything breaking inside because he sees the balls being thrown on the outside. So we talk about good positioning and a good job by DBs getting their head turned around. In this instance, like he knows where he is. He's doing a good job of setting the boundary as far as using the sideline to his advantage, and then he also is able to read where the ball's coming before the receiver is able to see it, and that also lends to why the DB is able to make a better play on the ball because he's already been able to track the ball where it's going before the receiver does. So, as an extra added with that, you're talking about the pass rush here. That just half a second too early for that ball to be thrown. It's a good ball. So we're not really talking about Ewers here, but it's
Right.
the timing of this ball that now he has to rush the throw. He has to throw it before AD Mitchell has his head turned around. And you see that all the time. You see quarterbacks, they throw to spots. But because of the timing of this and AD not having seen that ball up in the air yet and the positioning of the cornerback, he is able to see that ball at a much better time and angle where he's able to get there and make a play before AD is able to do so. So all those things work together to make a great play by Washington, but it is still a testament to Elijah Jackson getting over the play that he lost on and moving on. You have to move on as a DB. You're told that as a DB a lot of times, like you're gonna get burnt, you're gonna lose some. That is the nature of that position. Very rarely will you see a guy not lose a battle from the DB position, but it's about how you respond to the next time, and then the next time, and then he right when it mattered the most, game's on the line. It's back in his hands, and he does everything he needed to do to be able to win this game for Washington. So kudos to Elijah Jackson and this Washington defense on the last play.
One thing I want to add too, just thinking about roster differences and different strategies. One of the things that Chance mentions often is that Washington has the number 26 ranked roster as far as talent is concerned, and they're playing at such an elite level. And something I think that really makes a big difference here, and it's something you don't hear said a lot, because I know we often make mention that the elite defenses in college football are highly skilled at playing man coverage. But I think just on the eyeball test right here, where athleticism is concerned, the receiver is better than the defensive back right here. And so something I see that is that's very interesting and you don't hear said often. This play shows you one of the great perks of good zone coverage. While you might not be able to go up toe to toe with this receiver, the space that the zone coverage allowed this defensive back allowed him to dictate the terms of the battle. And I think that that's something that is very easy to overlook, because we often just think about, we're going to go man to man, we're going to be on an island with him, whatever. His use of the space that ended up being kind of like the little battleground for this play was really made possible by zone coverage. And Jackson puts on a clinic on how to cut off routes, how to even bait a receiver, and then how to use the space that you have and your ability to see the football to come in and make a play that the receiver doesn't even realize is going to happen. So, really, good for him.
And with that being said, I think we'll wrap this one up. I expect to see great DB play and great defensive scheme against Michigan coming up on Monday. And I think that with Michigan only having one real threat at wide receiver to the eye, so I think Washington comes out and does a good job, at least on the defensive side of the ball. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but this play really gives you hope for it. Thank you for watching. Everybody else, stay locked in.
Everyone here at Locked In wants to say thank you to all of you who have subscribed to, liked, and commented on our channel. We've got a blast bringing great college football analysis to you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to share your thoughts, we'd love to see your comments. Till next time, stay locked in.